Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Virtual Racers Club. Today we are bringing you the Super Formula Season 3 Round 9 from, you guessed it, Suzuka. Everything's been about Suzuka these last few races. It has been a real Japan fest. We've got dragons sticking up on the wall around here. We've got the flag. It's been everything Japanese. We've only been eating sushi and drinking sake. So, yes, but this has to come to an end sooner or later, and this will be the last race at Suzuka, probably for a while, I guess. Everyone's sick to the back teeth of the track. I love it, though. Brilliant track. And here we are with the Super Formula, the pinnacle of the racing in the Virtual Racers Club, the single-seat formula that has got us all on the edges of our seats. It uses championship ballast to try and even out the contenders. We have no one running away with it. He says that as I'm just about to read you the championship table. Talleyrand is at the top on 127 points. Then we have a change of order, because I think Homesick's been second for the longest of times. But now in second place we have Shiren on 116 points. He's chasing after Talleyrand. In third, we have Homesick Alien on 111 points. And fourth, Racer Brown also on 111 points. Then Digital Blasphemy in fifth on 100 points. Guesty sixth on 98 points. Skyjacker seventh on 86 points. Catula in eighth on 83 points. Jim in ninth on 72 points. Noxie 10th on 70 points. 11th is Pat on 63 points. 12th is JTX on 21 points. Alexis Maximus 13th on 18 points. And Turtle in 14th on 12 points. But obviously those guys near the bottom haven't partaken in every race so far this championship. And the grid for the Super Formulas is reversed of the championship order. So as you can see on your screen, you have a Turtle up there on pole with Pat's second place on the grid. Noxie in third, Jim fourth, Catula in fifth, Skyjacker sixth, Digital Blasphemy in seventh, Racer Brown eighth, Homesick Alien starting in ninth, Shiren in 10th, and Talleyrand at the back as the championship leader, starting in 11th place. Shiren in the chat saying hello there. Why, hello. So, without further ado, we could do a quick grid walk, just a quick one. And just to see our runners and our riders in their cars. There is Turtle in his lovely stickers livery, looking rather good. There is the Williams replica livery of Pat. A lot of effort's gone into that, and it looks absolutely cracking. Then we have Noxie, third on the grid in his BMW Project X livery, looking rather splendid, car 24. Then Jim in the Lucky Strike Honda, in the days of Jacques Villeneuve, and Jenson Button, I think, drove one of those as well. Car 66. Then Catula in his Seat Sport Super Formula, looking rather splendid. Then we have the black and green of Skyjacker, and he is driving a Chevy. Over here we have the Mercedes of a Digital Blasphemy. A very nice looking livery indeed. We race as one. End that goddamn racism. What's wrong with you people out there? And here we have a Racer Brown in his UPS liveried. I'm not sure who he's, if there's a manufacturer involved in that one. If he's chosen a manufacturer to... Yeah, Ferrari. It's at the front there, look, Ferrari. In his Ferrari Super Formula. Then we have the Williams replica, the Leyland of Homesick Alien. Shiren in his Haas. Looking rather splendid indeed. And then our championship leader, Talleyrand, in his Subaru liveried Super Formula. Looking absolutely cracking. So they are our runners and riders. We're at Suzuka for the last time this weekend. And this is going to be a corker. So we're looking at Turtle on the front row. We've got 36 laps of Suzuka. And let's bring it on. Wait for those lights to go green and get this race underway. Talleyrand saying no grumpy celebrities on this grid. No, definitely not. And there they go. They're off. And Turtle having a good start, but it looks like Pat's having a better start. Pat already taking the lead of this race. Super stuff into the first corner. Pat is flying out there with Turtle in second. Noxie are very close behind, but Noxie's going for the long, wide line there, giving Jim the opportunity to close in. Skyjacker right up there behind Jim. In fifth place, Digital Blasphemy in sixth, with Shiren in seventh, Cthulhu in eighth, Talleyrand in ninth. Talleyrand, a great start from Talleyrand with Homesick Alien and Racer Brown dropping back all early doors. And there we see Pat pulling away from Turtle. And Noxie in third place. Skyjacker making some movement there behind Jim. And there's an overtake manoeuvre there from Shiren. Shiren having also a very good start. But Digital Blasphemy's got the inside line, but Digital Blasphemy having a bit of a shake on under the accelerator. And Shiren moves up into sixth. Cthulhu moves ahead. And Digital Blasphemy dropping right down to Racer Brown and Homesick Alien. Back there in 10th place. Pat, meanwhile, leading the way in this race. All tyre compounds are available to our drivers, but they're only allowed to use the Super Softs for one stint. So far, we've seen Pat's on the racing softs, as is Noxie, who's chasing Pat down. Jim up into third place. Skyjacker in fourth, with Shiren now under threat from Cthulhu. Cthulhu up the inside. He's late braked himself though, but he's managed to make it stick. So Cthulhu up ahead of Shiren, and Shiren under threat from Talleyrand. Talleyrand making great moves so far. These two are fighting each other for the championship there, Talleyrand and Shiren, and Homesick Alien also coming through. And this is some close call racing there, with Homesick Alien trying to get past Shiren. Shiren up the inside though, and Shiren sticking with it like a dog with its teeth in a bone. But Pat so far is leading the way from Jim. Noxie's dropped back. Noxie has dropped back from Jim. Jim has made the moves up into second place. Skyjacker in fourth, with Cthulhu fifth ahead of Talleyrand, but Talleyrand is coming on quick to the Spaniard, and the Spaniard under threat from Talleyrand. Talleyrand trying to get that inside line, and oh, he does, he gets it, Talleyrand. He looked like Cthulhu went a little bit wide coming under the bridge, and Homesick Alien trying to keep up with Talleyrand, but Cthulhu is still in there, and Shiren is up the inside of Homesick Alien. This is some classic racing here at Suzuka. It always produces a great one, with Homesick Alien there just ahead of Shiren, just behind Cthulhu, and he's got Cthulhu in the way. Shiren had to make some avoiding action from Homesick Alien, and Digital Blasphemy is right on the tail, and Turtle is at the back. We didn't see him going off, but I'm guessing he must have gone off somewhere. But Pat leading the way now in first place ahead of Jim. Jim trying to stick with that Williams replica ahead of him, with Noxie in third. Skyjacker closing in on those guys as well. Then you have Talleyrand in fifth, Cthulhu in sixth, Homesick Alien in seventh ahead of Shiren, with a Racer Brown 9th, Digital Blasphemy's dropped back 10th, and there, Turtle not too far behind Digital Blasphemy. So we've got a little battle there at the back. It looks like Digital Blasphemy must have had a bit of an off, and Pat absolutely slam dunking this at the front of the pack. And all he's got to do is keep his head down and keep maintaining those lap times, with Jim chasing him down though. Jim getting the fastest lap on lap 2. and closing the gap between himself and... Oh, Skyjacker is up. He's up ahead of Noxie. So Skyjacker making the moves on Noxie there. Up to third for the black and green 99 car, as he sets a chase for the two leaders out there. Talleyrand in fifth, not too far behind Noxie as well. He's pulling away from the Alien, who's got himself ahead of Catula, but Catula staying very close to the Alien, looking one way and getting a bit of a shake on for it. Oh my word. Catula trying everything to get himself by the Alien. He's going to get into the slipstream now. Will he use a bit of his boost as they head up towards 130R? It doesn't seem like he's using the boost. It's just the slipstream's enough to try and get himself right behind. Is he going to go for the inside of the chicane, Cassio? He cannot, and Shiren is sitting right there as well, on board with Shiren, as we see this battle unfold ahead of us between 6th and 7th. Shiren being in 8th. And it's a close call. Homesick Alien saying some awesome performances in this race. As we sit aboard 8th place, Shiren. Jim's taking the lead. I apologise. Let me go there. I'll have to knock it back to see how that was done. It looks like he was down the straight. They came out the last corner. Jim on the boost, right behind Pat. He pulls out into the space and he goes for that inside line, and Jim grabs himself first place. Great stuff from Jim there. And Pat drops down into a second with a... Oh, Skyjacker. He was third, but he's now having to defend from Noxie. And Noxie all over the back of the Chevy. While Skyjacker tries to take that Chevy to the levee. And they've got Talleyrand bearing down on him also. And Skyjacker having to defend with all his might from the BMW Project X. But Talleyrand makes the move up the inside. He makes the move up the inside of Noxie. We just cut away as he was making that move. Homesick Alien has been able to pull a little bit away from Catula, whilst Shiren is still battling with the Spaniard, and Racer Brown draws ever nearer in 9th place. Digital Blasphemy in 10th, some way off those guys ahead of him, and Turtle there chasing down Digital Blasphemy in 11th. But Jim is the leader at the moment. Pat in 2nd place, with Skyjacker holding on to that third, and now he's got the Master behind him. 2 times champion in the Super Formulas. He's going for that 3rd championship in his 3rd season in the Super Formulas. He really is the master of the Super Formulas. Noxie in 5th ahead of Homesick Alien. And Noxie managing to draw closer to Talleyrand in the straights. They all make their way down the straight. It's all very quite close as we're on lap 5 now. Someone out wide. Is that Pat? Pat out wide in the first corner. Pat, oh my words. He got in the path of Noxie, but hopefully he was ghosted, not to affect Noxie too much. No, Noxie is looking okay. So Jim there, leading from Skyjacker, now up into 2nd with Pat's demise. Talleyrand now in a podium position there. Noxie in 4th. Homesick Alien up to 5th. Catula 6th. Shiren still keeping a very close eye of his Spanish friend out there, and trying to close that gap and make the move. Racer Brown is up into 8th place, with Pat dropping down to 9th. Digital Blasphemy in 10th, and a Turtle in 11th, who informs me in the chat he had no boost button. He didn't put a boost button on, so he could not use his boost in this race. And Skyjacker is fending off Talleyrand at the moment, on board with Talleyrand's, as he tries to close that gap between himself and Skyjacker. Noxie not too far behind as well. If I can find the button for it. Oh, that's rubbish. Skyjacker defending. There you go, there's the back button. You can see Noxie just a little bit off, trying to defend from Homesick Alien, but Talleyrand trying to make a move on the Skyjacker out there. These two have raced each other many a time indeed. And Talleyrand, you saw, just using his boost there to get out of the corner and keep up with Skyjacker. Meanwhile, Jim pulling away. Another fastest lap for the Lucky Strike Honda on home soil, I guess. This is Honda's track, so Jim holding up his end of the bargain with his manufacturer. Skyjacker for Chevy in second, Noxie up into third. So Talleyrand, as we pulled away, Talleyrand lost a position to Noxie, and Noxie now all over Skyjacker. My word. So Skyjacker hasn't had a lap's piece yet in this race. He's had to defend every lap so far, but Noxie dropping back as they go under the bridge in Degba. And Talleyrand trying to get back that position from Noxie. He's on the outside of the hairpin, but he's made the move before the hairpin. So Talleyrand is back into third place, and it's so bunched up. Oh, and Catula, we saw Catula going off sideways. Oh my, Catula. No, that's Racer Brown. Catula's in ninth. Catula, I think he might have just been on the accelerator a little bit fast there, coming out of the hairpin as he comes out, and he just loses that back end. Oh, poor Catula, and hits that barrier. Unfortunate stuff for Catula there, dropping behind Pat, but ahead of Digital Blasphemy. Jim, meanwhile, doing the job out there, and he's got a country mile between himself and Skyjacker. Skyjacker still defending from Talleyrand. Then Noxie now having to defend from Homesick Alien. We'll get on board with the Alien as he gets the slipstream up to 130R, but the Alien carrying a little bit of weight deficit next to Noxie. And they all bunch up in Casio, and Homesick Alien trying to see if there was a move on in Casio, but not quite. And they come around to the start straight. And second, third, fourth and fifth all very close together. And Shiren not too far behind either. There you can see Shiren is on it as well. So they all battle it out for every single position here. And Racer Brown joining them as well, as we're on lap 7 of 36, 29 lift to go. And Skyjacker having to defend from Talleyrand. Talleyrand really drawing closer to the Chevy, the Subaru and the Chevy battling it out there, whilst Jim just gets to stroll away. A chilled ride for Jim out there. Brilliant stuff from Jim so far. Skyjacker then, oh, on the curves. It's a brave move for a man to drive on the curves here at Suzuka in these super formulas, and it looked like Talleyrand's going for an outside line on the hairpin. Skyjacker giving plenty of room, and that gives Noxie the opportunity to get up alongside Talleyrand, but doesn't quite get it to stick. And Talleyrand stays in third, and Homesick Alien sitting behind just watching the action. And here we are. Oh, and Talleyrand having another pop at Skyjacker as they go through a Spoon. And now we're on to the straight towards 130R, a scary corner. In these, I think with the aero package, it should be just flat. We'll see with Sky. No, Homesick lifting through 130R, and he's made a move on Noxie. Under braking, getting closer to Talleyrand. Noxie's still there though, he's not over. And yes, Homesick Alien up into fourth place. Noxie dropping down to fifth, and he's got Shiren, but Shiren's got his hands full with Racer Brown sitting very close behind him. And we haven't even looked at the fuel levels. They're all around about half a tank of fuel. Digital Blasphemy in 10th place, and Turtle there in 11th with no boost. His boost is broken. So Jim leading the way so far. Talleyrand up into second. Talleyrand making the move on the Chevy. And now Talleyrand is second place in this race. Skyjacker is in third. Homesick Alien trying to close the gap on Skyjacker. He does not want Talleyrand to get too far away, nor does Shiren. And it's all very tight stuff here with Noxie in fifth, Shiren sixth, Racer Brown in seventh. Even Pat's starting to catch him up now with his lighter car as Jim pulls away in the distance, and Talleyrand's in second. And oh no, oh dear, Skyjacker going wide in the hairpin, giving Homesick Alien half a chance up the inside. They're side by side all the way around up towards Spoon, but now Homesick Alien's got the inside line for Spoon, and he makes it work for him, and now Homesick Alien up into third place just about, but Skyjacker made it very difficult for him indeed. So, and now Noxie is trying to make a move on Skyjacker and defend from Shiren as they head up towards 130R. And this battling here is giving Talleyrand the opportunity to pull away from them all. And it's like Noah's Ark. They're side by side going into Casio. Unbelievable stuff. So Homesick Alien third, Noxie up into fourth. Skyjacker losing 2 positions. He's gone into the pits. He's gone into the pits. An early pit stop from Skyjacker. Interesting stuff. So Jim doing a cracking job out there in first place, Talleyrand in second, then we have Homesick Alien in third, but Noxie ever present there in fourth place with the Alien. Shiren now in fifth with Racer Brown in sixth. Pat up into seventh, trying to close the gap on Racer Brown out there. Catula in eighth place with Digital Blasphemy in ninth. Turtle just going along the start straight in 10th as Skyjacker comes out of the pits, topped up with fuel. Maybe he just, and some super soft tyres on that car. Maybe he just wants a bit of clear space, trying to do an undercut. And Jim there in first with Talleyrand in second, and Homesick Aliens pulled away Shiren, who he lost. Noxie's dropped down. Oh no, Noxie must have made a mistake under the bridge, and he's lost a few positions there with Pat, Racer Brown, Shiren all getting by. This is so close. So tight, this racing. We're on lap 9 of 36 now for round 9 of the Super Formula Season 3 Championship here at the Virtual Racers Club. And we have Shiren, Homesick and Talleyrand, the 3 top drivers in our championship. Well, Skyjacker is also up there, isn't he? And it's all very close, but Racer Brown closing that gap to Shiren in his Ferrari UPS. As Shiren deploys his boost, coming around that final corner to try and pull away from Racer Brown. Racer Brown yet to use the boost. He's using it strategically, waiting later in the race. And Jim, at the moment, he's pulled even further away from Talleyrand. Talleyrand doing 42s, with Jim in the 41s. And it looks to me like that Honda is unstoppable here at Suzuka on home soil. Talleyrand in the Subaru, chasing him down with Homesick Alien in his Leyland in third, Shiren in fourth. Then Racer Brown in fifth, keeping a close eye of that Haas ahead of him. Then we have Pat in sixth, trying to close the gap between himself and Racer Brown. Noxie in seventh after his small mistake, puts him down a couple of positions. Eighth for Catula off the track, but it's all right because Digital Blasphemy's taking the same line behind him. So Catula a little bit safe, but Digital Blasphemy is closing the gap between himself and the Spaniard. Skyjacker on those fresh tyres, he's got past Turtle. There's Turtle. No, Turtle pitted that last time around, so Skyjacker managing to get by Turtle in the pits. And when will the next batch of pit stops be? We're on lap 10. There's 26 laps still to go. Is this going to be a 2-stopper? I don't know how many of them are going to try and make it last for 1 stop. The fuel isn't too bad, especially for Talleyrand. Homesick Alien. Oh, and Shiren's going for a move in Casio. Shiren is going for a move there against the Alien, but the Alien defends not too badly at all. And the Alien stays in third with Shiren in fourth and Racer Brown very close now. Is he going to go for a move into the first corner? Racer Brown stays behind the Haas. Excuse me, as the Haas closes up on a Homesick Alien. He's deployed half of his boost now, has Shiren, whereas Homesick Alien has only used 3/4 of it. Talleyrand in second, he's deployed half of his boost as well. And there is Jim, he hasn't even really barely had to use any so far. And he's a mile ahead, so he'll be going for a fastest lap later on. Racer Brown, though, has found that he's got a Pat now on his rear gun. And Pat will be looking to make that move after leading the early doors of this race. Noxie in seventh, trying to close the gap as well. And we've got these three cars having an absolute corker of a battle. Homesick Alien versus Shiren versus Racer Brown, Pat and Noxie. They're all closing in on this race here, where Homesick Alien trying to maintain position, but his tyres are starting to look a little worn at the front there. Shiren's are a lot more healthier than Homesick Aliens, as are Racer Browns. Pat's off, Noxie's up. Noxie's gone up a position, and Pat must have lost a bit of downforce, sitting behind a Racer Brown as they went through Spoon. And there is Homesick Alien trying to defend from Shiren again. Shiren back in Casio, trying to get himself a little bit of traction up the inside of the Alien, and the Alien's gone in. His tyres were looking kind of used, and Jim is still out there leading the way with a quarter of a tank of fuel as we're on lap 12. Talleyrand in second place. Racer Brown followed Homesick Alien into the pits. There is Shiren now in third place, with Noxie very close behind in fourth. Pat playing catch up again in fifth. Digital Blasphemy goes past the pit lane in sixth. Skyjacker regains those positions from Homesick Alien and Racer Brown on his super soft tyres. He did a 41.6 his last time around. He wants to be getting some purples. Racer Brown is out of the pits before Homesick Alien. Interesting stuff. And he didn't quite top up though, did Racer Brown. He put 3/4 of a tank in, where Homesick Alien, he virtually filled up. And they've both opted for the racing softs. They're saving those super softs for later in the race. There is Turtle radioing into the pit saying, my boost button's not working. And Jim is there leading the way by a mile. Talleyrand only just going into Spoon as Jim reaches a 130R. An absolute chasm of a gap between Jim and Talleyrand in this race. Shiren in third place, and the undercut might be playing against Shiren here. He did a 44.1 his last time around, and we saw Skyjacker was in the 41s. So on these fresher tyres, these guys going faster than Shiren. Is he going to opt to go into the pits? Talleyrand has gone into the pits, and so has Shiren. So early pit stops in this race. Lap 13 of 36. Definitely a two-stopper for most of these guys. Jim's opting to stay out there. He's dropped into the 42s now, with Noxie doing a 43 his last time around. Tyre wear is starting to prove a thing here, especially for those carrying a bit of weight. Digital Blasphemy up into fourth. Skyjacker now into fifth place with his early pit stop. And he's just under 3/4 of a tank, but his super softs are looking rather splendid. And Racer Brown has made the jump on Talleyrand. That shows you what the undercut is here, with Racer Brown managing, but he did short fill, remember, making the jump on Talleyrand, and Homesick Alien just behind Talleyrand, a little closer than he was before the round of pit stops. So Jim might be in trouble out there. He did have a mile before the nearest competitor, but staying out longer hurts more, it seems. Noxie out there in second, Pat in third, Digital Blasphemy in fourth. Digital Blasphemy famous for trying to make these cars go for a one stop, and the one stop here will be lap 18. So he's got a while to go, but he's got good fuel on board, so he could be trying to go for that one stop. Jim's into the pits. Jim, I think he's sussed about that undercut there. Noxie, is he going to continue on? His fuel's quite low. He might come in. His tyres look quite worn. Pat's tyres are in a good state. He's got 1/4 of a tank of fuel. Digital Blasphemy, he's got loads of fuel. Tyres are looking good. Skyjacker, the first of the pit stoppers, looking to try and get. Noxie did go in. Noxie went in. Pat stayed out. So Pat has stayed out. And now Pat is leading this race on lap 14 of 36 here at Suzuka for round 9 of the Super Formula Season 3. Jim's back out. Jim is great. Jim is out. He's got a nice buffer between him and a Skyjacker. So the undercut not working against Jim, but he did have quite a gap between him and the next car. Talleyrand dropping 2 positions with that undercut, and he's got Homesick Alien for company. And Homesick Alien is a very fast boy. So Skyjacker so far in 3rd place. Half a tank of fuel. He went for the super soft tyres and pitted all the way back there on lap 8. So an interesting strategy. Very early pit stop for Skyjacker. Jim just pitting. He's back out in 2nd place, waiting for Pat to make his pit stop. I don't think Pat's got the fuel to go to lap 18, but he can try and get there as close as he can. Noxie recently pitting. He's down in 8th behind Shiren, who pitted the lap before, and he is behind Homesick Alien. So that's how the undercut works here. Turtle in 9th ahead of... Oh, Digital Blasphemy isn't going for the 1-stopper, but he didn't put much fuel in when he pitted. It was literally a tyre stop. With Pat now into the pits, and Jim will regain the lead for Honda here on home soil. Still holding on to that fastest lap on lap 5. And Jim takes the lead from Skyjacker. Racer Brown finds himself up into 3rd place. He's short fueled though, remember, so he's going to have to pit at a similar time as Skyjacker. Jim on full tanks virtually still. Skyjacker, he's closer to Jim. Jim hasn't got the gap that he did have. He's got to do all that again. And we are on lap 15 of 36. Skyjacker in 2nd. Racer Brown in 3rd place. Talleyrand in 4th. Still only just ahead of the Alien. If we get on board with Homesick Alien, we can watch him chasing down Talleyrand, and you can see Racer Brown just a little bit ahead of us. You can see down to 2nd gear as they go under the bridge in Degma. I think it's Degma. I keep saying it is. I haven't looked at my map. Yeah, Degna. Through the hairpin for Homesick Alien. He's got Shiren behind him, but he's got a nice gap from himself and Shiren, as you can see. You can hardly see Shiren in the background there, as he chases down Talleyrand. Talleyrand, the championship leader so far. And up ahead, you can see, there's 2 cars there. Has Racer Brown caught Skyjacker up? I think he has, you know. Let's have a look. Yes, Racer Brown really catching up Skyjacker. Did Skyjacker make a mistake that lap? He must have done. Oh my word, we'll see with the lap times as they come around. But I think Skyjacker's made a boo-boo on that lap. A 42.8, no, similar lap times, a 40.7, so just an unbelievable fast lap time from Racer Brown. He's going for the move in the first corner, and he makes it stick. Oh, but he's gone wide, and so has Skyjacker. Oh my word, this is a turn up for the books, and Talleyrand goes through into 2nd, Homesick Alien up into 3rd, Racer Brown back on the track in 4th, Shiren up into 5th, and Skyjacker losing out the most in 6th place. Oh my word, it looked like Skyjacker and Racer Brown was playing the late break game, and they late braked each other and both ended up off the track in the first corner. It didn't look like they were close enough to make contact, and Jim is still leading, and that's just what Jim would like. That's just what he needed. That's the shot in the arm that Jim needed there, a nice gap. Although Talleyrand is a lot closer to Jim than he was on the first round of pit stops. Jim in the chat saying hello all, looks like a cracking little race. Yes, indeed. And Homesick Alien there in 3rd. He's dropped a little bit of ground to Talleyrand. Talleyrand on a push at the moment. And Racer Brown down in 4th. Shiren seeing the back of that Ferrari and wanting to close the gap. Shiren using his boost up along the straight towards 130R. Racer Brown still got plenty of boost left to defend if need be, and Shiren closing the gap to Racer Brown. Skyjacker now getting overtaken by Noxie. It's going from bad to worse for Skyjacker. Has he lost the tyres? Those super softs, they are looking quite worn, but still quite a bit more meat on them. Is he going in? He has. He's gone in. So Skyjacker not even halfway in the race on his 2nd pit stop already Racer Brown saying no contact there with me and Sky. See, there you go. There was no contact. They just outbraked. They were just trying to see who could brake the latest. So Jim out there in the lead with Talleyrand in second place, but Talleyrand has just got the fastest lap of the race, pulling away from Homesick Alien. Then we've got Racer Brown and Shiren in a tough little battle there. Noxie just getting himself ahead of Skyjacker. Pat now 7th, Digital Blasphemy in 8th place. Skyjacker out of the pits in 9th, ahead of Turtle. But Skyjacker, will he have to make... He's going to have to make another pit stop, isn't he? He's going to go 3-stopper. Yeah, outbraked myself, Racer Brown said. So, yeah, Skyjacker going for a 3-stop strategy in this race. And maybe it's just worth it for the tyres, really. They do seem to be wearing their tyres. Jim doing a cracking job out there in the lead, but he's doing 41.7s regularly, whereas this man at the moment did a 40.4 his last time around. He's really found a great rhythm here at Suzuka, and he's closing that gap to Jim. Homesick Alien, a 42.3 from him last time around. Racer Brown closing the gap, although with that outbraking, Racer Brown's done a 48, lost a bit of time there. And Shiren closing that gap on Racer Brown, a 41.8 from Shiren. Racer Brown, a 41.5. Homesick Alien, a 42.8. So I don't know if Homesick Alien is just trying to make his fuel last a little bit, manage his car a little bit mid-race. But Racer Brown is closing in on him. Talleyrand, he's just burning through it. 41.6 last time around from him. Jim doing a 42.0. And Jim just doing just enough. We're on lap 18 of 36. That is the halfway mark in this race. And Jim's getting purples now. He's had the warning from the pit crew that Talleyrand is on a push, mid-race push to try and catch up with Jim. And we have the undercut if Talleyrand goes in early as well. He's still got half a tank of fuel and a lot of beef on his tyres. So I can't imagine Talleyrand is thinking of a pit stop anytime soon. And nor would Jim. Homesick Alien out there with half a tank, but he's using his tyres up. Racer Brown, he's only on a quarter of a tank. Remember, he's short-filled on his pit stop. So he'll be wanting to make some hay with Shiren there in 5th place. He's on half a tank as these three close up to each other on lap 18 of 36 in this race. And it looks like Racer Brown are ready to make a move on Homesick Alien. He's closed right up behind him. He's gone down the inside at Casio, and he's gone for the move there, but Homesick Alien's got the inside line coming out of Casio. But no, Racer Brown, he gets it, and Shiren, cheeky little throw it up the inside there of Homesick Alien, and Homesick Alien loses 2 spots in Casio, and Shiren are on a push. And these three all coming down to the first corner. Racer Brown first, third for Shiren, and Homesick Alien in 5th place. Noxie not too far behind that battle. And if they all keep battling each other, then Noxie will definitely be on the back of that pack. With Pat in 7th. He's some distance off of those guys. Digital Blasphemy in 8th place. He's in a nice little pocket of air himself. Skyjacker some way off of those guys in 9th. After his pit stop, he's going for a 3-stopper, we think. Oh, and I just went to click on Turtle and he's disappeared. No Turtles there. Someone's gone then. We had 11 competitors, and I can't think who we have lost. But Jim is leading. Talleyrand. Oh, Catula. We've lost Catula. We've lost our Spanish friend. Fernando has disappeared. So Jim now is leading the way. Oh, and Racer Brown just saying Cthulhu. So Jim is leading from Talleyrand. Talleyrand doesn't seem to be closing the gap any. He did a 41.5. His last time around, Jim did a 41.0. So yeah, Jim picking up the pace. 41.2 from Jim that time around, with Talleyrand coming around the final corner to post a 41.6. So Talleyrand dropping off that pace a little bit with a Racer Brown on a push, a 41.5 from Racer Brown. He's pulled away from the Alien, and Shiren's dropped back. Shiren, a 47 that last lap around. Shiren must have made a mistake, and he's dropped off that battle between Homesick and Noxie. And this is a battle royale indeed. We're on lap 20 of 36, 16 to go, and it's still unsure who's going to finish where. Shiren there in 6th, ahead of Pat. Pat closing the gap to Shiren. Shiren second in the championship. He needs the points, but at the moment he's not getting the positions. Jim, though, an absolute dominant race from the Lucky Strike Honda liveried Super Formula, driven, piloted by Jim 66. As I have a splurge of my warm beverage. Talleyrand in second place. Racer Brown in third. He's on even points with Homesick Alien. Both of them, I believe, on 111 points in the championship. So Racer Brown surging forward ahead of the Alien, who looks like he's going to have a tricky time from Noxie. Noxie's tyres are in absolute immaculate condition. He's got half a tank of fuel on board. And Homesick Alien might find himself into a little bit of bother there, as his tyres are going off rapidly underneath him. And Noxie closing the gap by a rate of knots. And as Homesick stays out for another lap, he's got the fuel, why wouldn't he? Shiren trying to close the gap on those guys after his lap 19 shenanigans. Pat in 7th place. He's doing great lap times, is Pat. And he'll be trying to close the gap on the guys ahead of him. Digital Blasphemy in 8th place. His last lap wasn't a great one, a 48.5. I don't know if that's just a glitch. No, a 48.5 for Digital Blasphemy. Turtle has been caught up by a Skyjacker. Skyjacker trying to find a nice spot to take the Dutchman, who doesn't have any boost in this race. Skyjacker trying to find the slipstream to try and get into that first corner. He's already made 2 stops in this race. He's waiting for everyone else to make their second stop. As he closes on the Dutchman. And now through these S's, he'll be getting all sorts of aero turmoil from that car ahead of him. They're fine in a straight line, but when they're going around the corners, you get a lot of wash, a lot of buffer from the car in front. And as you can see, Skyjacker dropping back a little bit through the S's, probably waiting for a straighter bit of road to take the attack to Turtle. Whilst Jim, meanwhile, still leading. Talleyrand trying to close the gap. He did a 42.5 his last time around. Jim did a 41.7. So Jim maintaining those lap times ahead of Talleyrand, doing a super job. We're on lap 22 of 36. And Racer Brown is going to have to make a pit stop shortly. And it looks like Homesick Alien trying to close the gap on the Ferrari ahead of him. Noxie still holding ground. But we've got Shiren closing the gap between them as well, and Pat closing the gap also as they come up to their second pit stops in the race. Talleyrand still got a quarter of a tank of fuel, doing okay out there. He's used quite a lot of boost though next to Jim, and Racer Brown still got half his boost left on board. Homesick Alien just over half, and wow, look at this. Noxie closing up. They're all 4 of them are starting to close up now as a Homesick Alien has to watch out. He's defending that inside line from Noxie. Noxie trying to go for the outside line, left himself vulnerable to Shiren. So we've got some tight battling here, and Noxie is determined. He's going for the move. They're side by side, but Homesick Alien defending the inside line, and that's put Noxie out wide. That gives Shiren the opportunity to get up the inside of Noxie. and they're side by side going up the straight. Shiren and Noxie side by side. There's a little bit of to and fro in between the two of them, but Noxie maintains that 5th ahead of Shiren, and Pat there in 7th, very close behind. And Homesick Alien, outbraked by Noxie. Noxie braking late into the chicane and nearly didn't make the corner, and now they're 3 wide coming through the last corner, and Shiren around the both of them. As they were racing each other, Shiren grabs himself that 4th spot ahead of Homesick Alien. Pat also managing to make up a position of Noxie, but he's out wide again. He's outbraked himself in that first corner, and Noxie back up into 6th, staring at the back of Homesick Alien. And Shiren really was the move there, wasn't it? Very opportunist, did a great job and grabbed himself a 4th place in this race. Racer Brown didn't go in, and that's a surprise. I honestly thought Racer Brown was going to go in at that lap, but he's managed to stay out there. Maybe it's because these guys are all falling over each other, and they've given himself a little bit more of a buffer, and he thought, I can get another of it, costing each other time. But Shiren has been released. He's on his way. 4th, Homesick in 5th. There is Noxie in 6th, Pat in 7th. We've got Digital Blasphemy in 8th, just going under the bridge, and Skyjacker back into the pits. Is it terminal? Yeah, it's hard to say. I can't see any work being done on the car. And Skyjacker, he might be in the pits for the duration, but Jim stays out there and gets himself another lap done in the lead. I think he's led all but first lap, possibly. Talleyrand still chasing him down. Racer Brown, he's definitely going to come through Casio and drop into the pits. He's driving on vapors at the moment, and there he goes into the pits. And what will Shiren do? And Homesick Alien also following. Racer Brown into the pits for their final pit stops, you'd have to say. Shiren stays out there. Noxie tries to defend from Pat. Pat there all up in Noxie's business, trying to get that Williams a place higher in the pack as they drive around. There's the S's. Noxie doing a cracking job ahead of Pat, and Shiren solidifying his 3rd place. But don't forget the... Oh, that's a lovely shot there of Shiren going, and Noxie, Pat, beautiful. Digital Blasphemy in 6th. So Racer Brown out of the pits ahead of Homesick Alien in 7th. Homesick Alien in 8th. Turtle 9th. Skyjacker still having his car looked at. Those are darned American manufacturers, the Chevys. They probably left a bolt off or something. So Jim leading the way. Talleyrand in 2nd, but Talleyrand's on vapors. He's going to have to pit pretty soon. So is Shiren. We'll see if the undercut is good for Racer Brown and Homesick Alien. Homesick Alien, I imagine, has gone for the super softs. No, he stayed with the softs. It's not mandatory that they use super softs. And it looks like Racer Brown and Homesick have opted not to go for a set of super softs this race. There is Talleyrand into the pits. We assume Shiren will follow him in as well as he comes through Casio. You see the battle behind him between Noxie and Pat. Pat doing a cracking move there around the outside of Noxie. Noxie goes into the pits though. Pat stays out and moves up into 2nd place. And Digital Blasphemy going through Casio. Our camera stays there too long, doesn't it? We'll just look at nothing. So Digital Blasphemy moving on up into 3rd place, but he's still got to make a pit stop. No, 4th, because Talleyrand is back out onto the track in 3rd. So the undercut did not work for Racer Brown or Homesick Alien that time around. They're both just on the start straight. And Shiren coming out of the pits just ahead of Alien. No, behind the Alien. So Shiren loses the spot from the early pit stopping Homesick and Racer Brown. And there is Shiren in 3rd, just behind the Alien. He's put the super soft tyres on, whereas the Homesick Alien opted to go for the racing softs. But we have seen the Alien using up those tyres quite rapidly in the races. Homesick Alien still got over half of his boost left, whereas Shiren is very low on boost. So Homesick Alien, plenty of boost to defend against Shiren in this race. And we assume that Jim will be pitting soon. Not this lap though. Pat, maybe not this lap either, as he comes up to 130R. Talleyrand, now he'll be trying to put in some killer lap times to try and half that distance between himself and Jim out there. But Jim looking like a very solid drive today, with Digital Blasphemy up there in fourth, but he's going to have to pit at the end of this lap, which will move Racer Brown, Homesick, Shiren, possibly Noxie. Noxie's gone for them super softs. He's chasing down Shiren and the Alien. With the Racer Brown, he seems to have pulled away from those guys a little bit. Cracking stuff from the Racer Brown. Digital Blasphemy did not go into the pits like I called. So Digital Blasphemy stays out for another lap, as does Pat. Jim still leading. He's under half a tank, quarter of a tank, of fuel. He's still got loads of boost left if he wants to go for that fastest lap near the end. Pat in second place with Talleyrand in third, Digital Blasphemy in fourth, but Pat and Digi are both going to have to stop pretty soon. Racer Brown in fifth, ahead of Homesick Alien in sixth, who's ahead of Shiren in seventh, Noxie in eighth, Turtle in ninth place. So Pat, we'll keep an eye on Pat as he comes up towards 130R. Jim's gone in for a nice early stop. We're on lap 26, only 10 more laps left of this race. Jim's opted to make the stop. Pat will have to stop, and Talleyrand, he's some way back, isn't he? He's not going to catch up Jim, I don't think. I think Jim's going to get all his work done that he needs to get done before Talleyrand can catch him up. Talleyrand now heading towards Casio. Jim's back out on track, and an absolute dominant drive there from Jim in his Honda Lucky Strike, a livery, a super formula, home soil for the Honda Marquis, and he has done an absolute dominant job today in his machinery. Talleyrand there in second place. Racer Brown moving up to third. Pat's back out on track though, but he's dropped behind the Alien and Shiren, but he's made a move on Noxie. So Pat coming out ahead of Noxie. He's on the super soft tyres. Digital Blasphemy also into the pits, and he's racing Turtle today. Turtle just coming out of Casio, but Digital Blasphemy easily back to the track. Unbelievable stuff there, great racing. So Jim, an absolute dominant drive. We're on lap 27 of 36, and we see the Honda making its way around. Excuse me. In an absolute great drive from Jim. Well deserved. He's had a lot of bad luck so far in this championship. And it looks to me like all that bad luck, as the karma has paid off today with an absolute flawless drive by the Honda driver here at Suzuka for round 9 of the Super Formula. Racer Brown in the chat saying this is when I start to sweat. Oh, interesting. So Talleyrand in second place, no one near him. Then we have a Racer Brown, Homesick Alien. Oh my lord, there's a whole heap of cars all in one shot, with a Racer Brown there crossing the line. He's just used the last of his boost virtually. He's just got a little bit left. Homesick Alien still got half a tank of boost left in that car. And there is Shiren trying to chase down the Alien. He's got no boost left. Pat, he's still got a quarter of his boost left on them super softs. He's closing in on Shiren with a Noxie not too far behind either. We have only got 8 more laps left of racing here, and Racer Brown's podium position is hanging in the balance here. He's on the softs as well as Homesick Alien, so tyre wear shouldn't be a problem for these two competitors as Homesick Alien sets chase for Racer Brown and that final podium position. Racer Brown last time around doing a 41.2 with Homesick Alien doing a 41.3. Nothing in it between the two of them. A 41.3 from Sharon also, with Pat doing a 30. Oh, that was an outlap, sorry. And Noxie doing a 42.4. Oh, Pat's out wide. Oh, and he's come on the track at the worst time, giving Noxie a little bash. But Noxie cracks on anyway, chasing down Sharon. Homesick chasing down Racer Brown. And this could be a tight finale between all of these guys. Jim, meanwhile, has just got himself the fastest lap of the race with a 140.079. Jim doing the job, and doing the job well. Talleyrand there, consolidating his championship lead with a second place. Racer Brown and Homesick Alien, they're joint on points for 4th in the championship. And it's a battle between the Brown and the Alien. And who will come out on top? Homesick Alien trying to close down that gap between himself and Racer Brown. Sharon second in the championship. He's chasing Talleyrand. And oh no, Sharon's had an off. An unforced error there from Sharon, and that gives Noxie the opportunity to move up into 5th, Pat up into 6th, and Sharon, oh my word, the Russian sensation. Just don't know what happened, just got wiggly under braking and went off wide and lost 2 positions. So Racer Brown, that's a 1 guy off of Racer Brown's back, but he's still got the Alien hunting him down. And now we've got 7 laps to go, and the gap does look like it's getting smaller. Racer Brown did a 41.743 last time around. Homesick Alien a 41.2, and Homesick Alien has still got plenty of boost in the bag to use against the Ferrari driver. Meanwhile, up ahead, Talleyrand, miles ahead of those guys, can just take it relatively easy till the end. And Jim, you'd think take it easy, but he's just gone for fastest lap on lap 28. Did a 41.4 his last time around. He doesn't want to do any risky stuff, does Jim? Because he's got a win in the bag here if he can keep it on the track. And Racer Brown and Homesick Alien. Racer Brown doing a 41.8 last time around. Homesick Alien doing a 41.6, another 2/10. The Alien has pulled in the Racer Brown. Noxie in 5th place. But he's got Pat right on his case. And Pat, we've seen, very fighty today. Feisty Pat in 40.5 he did his last time around. And Noxie doing a 41.0. Sharon, poor Sharon. He had that 5th place all wrapped up, chasing down the Alien and Racer Brown. And if Racer Brown and the Alien start racing each other, they will slow each other down. And you can see Noxie and Pat not too far away in the distance there, with Sharon chasing them down also. Digital Blasphemy is a run of bad luck here at Suzuka, continuing on. He just does not get on with this track. And Turtle there in 9th with no boost, and Turtle's going to have to make another pit stop. 6 laps to go in this race, and we lost Skyjacker. So Jim then leads the way, crosses the line, a 40.6 for Jim. Talleyrand just getting through a Casio. And it's a Racer Brown and Homesick Alien. That is the battle with Noxie versus Pat. They're the battles we have on track for these last 6 laps. Pat closing the gap on Noxie, getting ever closer. Noxie going inside at Casio to defend. Pat trying to have a look around the outside. And Sharon, glad to see them two racing each other, slowing each other down. And that gives Sharon the opportunity to move ever closer. But at the moment, Noxie still maintaining that 5th place ahead of Pat. Pat closing the gap as they come into the first corner with great velocity. Let's get on board with the Pat as he chases down We have to keep an eye on third and fourth as well. Homesick Alien and Racer Brown, they're looking closer together on track as well. And we'll just see how Pat does on this lap, and then we'll have a look to see how Racer Brown on the map. I'm keeping an eye on the map in the top corner, and there is still quite a bit of distance between Alien and Racer Brown as of yet. And there we can see Pat trying to close the gap on Noxie as they get to the hairpin. He's going for the inside line. Noxie's gone wide, and Pat has made the move. Pat making the move on Noxie. They're side by side, coming up towards Spoon, and Pat outside the line there, and Noxie just managing to fight that position back there from Pat. What a battle between these two as they go into Spoon. Unbelievable stuff there between Pat and Noxie. And this will be helping Shiren. Shiren trying to close the gap on those two guys out there as they battle it out. Noxie up towards 130R. And Pat trying to get some work done in the Casio, but Noxie's got him totally pinned back there. And Noxie defending with all his might. Noxie's still got quite a bit of boost left in that car, ahead of Pat, who's got barely any boost to attack with as they come around that first corner, and Pat is there again on the attack. And Noxie having to soak up so much pressure at the end of this race. Unbelievable stuff there between Noxie and Pat. We'll have a quick look. Racer Brown, he's still got himself a bit of a gap between himself and Homesick Alien. 42.4 for Racer Brown that last lap around. Homesick Alien doing a 42.7. So Homesick Alien pushing a little too hard. His tyres are starting to go off, where Racer Brown's got better tyres than the Alien at that point in the race. But Noxie and Pat side by side again. Noxie on the inside. Noxie doing everything he can to stay ahead of Pat, and all the time they're battling, you've got this man here, the Russian sensation, closing up on them. So unbelievable racing here between Noxie and Pat for 5th and 6th. And Noxie holding on to that 5th, 6th for Pat, Shiren in 7th. They've got a gap now. So Racer Brown still maintaining that distance ahead of Homesick Alien. If anything, it looks like the Alien has dropped back a little bit more, and Racer Brown seems to have it all sorted out in his pocket. He crosses the line doing a 42.1. And the Alien managing a 43.2. So yes, Homesick Alien losing a bit on that lap. Noxie still trying to defend from Pat. Pat closing in again for another attack. We're on lap 33. And Pat right on his jacksie again. Poor old Noxie soaking up so much pressure in this race. Pat on the push, on the attack, and again, like I said, these two fighting each other this way, slows each other down and gives Shiren the opportunity. And we've seen Shiren already in the, oh no, someone's off. Is that Homesick Alien? That was Homesick Alien. Oh my gosh. So hang on, gee, where is he? 7th. That is not good for the Alien. Let's knock it back a couple of so goes, that's enough. So Homesick Alien, he's pushing hard to try and catch up a Racer Brown. He's lost even more distance to him, and just going a bit wide, just pushing hard in Degma, and he's done it to himself there. Oh, poor Homesick Alien, losing lots of ground. And there you go, he's lost 3 places there to Noxie, up to 4th, but Pat's going for a move again, and Noxie really has soaked up a lot of pressure from Pat in this race, and this is helping Shiren out every single lap, being able to draw closer and closer to these guys. Pat's out wide, Shiren's up the inside, Pat's out wide again. Homesick Alien gets through, and Pat all that effort. He's done a great race so far, has Pat, but he's gone wide there. And then when he wanted to get back on the track, there was always a car on the inside of him, and he's ended up putting himself down into 7th. Racer Brown looks like a solid podium on the go there. We're on lap 34 of 36. Noxie in a solid 4th, but we've got Shiren closing in on him. Noxie doing a 43.1 his last time around, a 42.2 for Shiren. Homesick Alien looming large in their mirrors as well, but he had an off that last lap, so his was a 49.8. And there is someone leading this race. It's Jim. There he is. He's not had to race anyone today, and I'm sure he's probably quite pleased about that. Although there is someone quite close behind him. I think he's just put a lap on Turtle. He has. So Jim lapping Turtle on lap 34 of 36. Talleyrand still some way off him. Nothing he can do about that. Then Racer Brown in that podium position. And then we've got this battle here with Noxie, Shiren, and possibly Homesick Alien, if he can catch them up before the end of the race. And Noxie, well-deserved 4th, really. He soaked up a lot of pressure from Pat in this race. He's raced everyone, has Noxie. He's had quite the adventure today, has Noxie, here at Suzuka for round 9 of the Super Formula Series 3. And that 4th place would be well deserved if he can hold off Shiren in the last couple of laps. Shiren trying to close the gap on himself. He's got no boost though. Noxie has got a small bit of boost left on board to try and defend with, as he makes his way through a Casio in his BMW Project X liveried car. And he does a 42.6 that last time around. Shiren doing a 42.4, so Shiren just a couple of tenths quicker. Homesick Alien a 43.4, but I think Homesick Alien's tyres are spent. He's used those tyres up. Meanwhile, Jim a 41.7 out there in the lead on his penultimate lap. And he has really had a super race, has Jim, so far. Talleyrand in 2nd place, chasing them down. Racer Brown in that final podium position. Not used his tyres up half as much as the Alien, to say they pitted at the same time. Noxie has still got some work to do, because Shiren is closing in on him. It's getting closer. If we get on board with the Shiren, I'd go in cockpit, but the bloody halo gets in the way. And there you see Shiren drawing ever closer to Noxie as they come out of the hairpin, head up towards Spoon. But Shiren's fuel is flashing. Is that enough? It is, of course it is. They've only got one more lap after this. So Shiren trying to close the gap on Noxie. They have Homesick Alien behind, but you can hardly see him. He must have dropped back even more. I think his tyres are done, our Homesick Aliens. And there you see Shiren trying to make a move. He wouldn't mind this position, I'm sure, just for his championship efforts. But Noxie has fought tooth and nail for that 4th place, and he's right there. But Noxie's deploying his boost. He's deploying his boost to protect that 4th place, to try and get away from Shiren. And Noxie now, he's there. It's the final lap. And Noxie's just got to try and cling on for one more lap against Shiren. Homesick Alien now under threat from Pat. Pat's tyres absolutely fresh as a daisy. Pat. Homesick Alien having a little wobble there. Fighting with Pat. Noxie's still good at the moment, ahead of Shiren. This is the closest battle, with Homesick Alien trying to fend off Pat. Every point counts in this championship. And Homesick Alien losing a fistful of points towards Talleyrand and Racer Brown now. And oh no, he just doesn't have the grip, does Homesick Alien. So Pat is up. Pat is up and into 6th place. Noxie, he's still holding on to that 4th ahead of Shiren. Where is Jim? Jim crosses the line to take the win. Super stuff from the Honda driver there. Absolute dominant drive from Jim. Then Talleyrand coming through Casio to grab himself that second place. Super stuff from the championship leader. Great stuff. And there, Racer Brown consolidating his day with a podium. A great race from the Ferrari driver in the UPS livery. And take a boo, my son. Shiren got it. Shiren got it. Oh my God, let me flick it back. Let me flick it back. Oh my gosh. No, Noxie there in fourth. Oh, what's that? My gosh, what's that? I'm going to knock it back again. And hopefully we won't look at the stadium. So there is Noxie ahead of Shiren as they come through 130R. Shiren, he's got a better run at him. He's got a better runner as they come into Casio. And wow, Shiren, what a move from Shiren, but they're both off the road. Both off the road, and Shiren's off the road the other side. And Noxie's got a wiggle on, but it looks like Noxie is going to grab that fourth place in the end. And super stuff from Noxie. Shiren in fifth. Pat grabs that sixth from Homesick Alien, who finishes in seventh. And his tyres were absolutely cooked, weren't they? Oh my Lord, what a race. Well, what can be said about this man? No one came close to the Honda Marquis today on home soil. A great race done by Jim, and he got the fastest lap as well. So awesome stuff from Jim, and it's a long time coming, it has to be said, and a great win from the Jim. And in the chats, we've got Racer Brown saying, well driven for Jim and very consistent. Jim saying, thank you, wasn't a bad result. And Shiren saying, great job, Noxie. So, Talleyrand there in the championship lead, doing a great drive there, carrying the weight for second place for Subaru. A great job from Talleyrand. Racer Brown in the end, managing to keep hold of that third place. Homesick Alien was trying to bring it to him, but Racer Brown looked after his tyres, managed his car very well, and grabbed himself that final podium position. Noxie, what can be said about Noxie? Did he have a race or half? And all of those that raced against him, Shiren, Pat, Alien, and even Racer Brown, I think, was having a wheel-to-wheel with Noxie at some point in that race. Everyone had to go with Noxie. So Noxie, in the end, grabbing fourth, best of the rest, and getting the points for it. Shiren tried it all at the end to try and get himself ahead of Noxie, gave it his all, but Casio beat him, I think, a little bit. Then Pat in sixth. He had an up-and-down race. He was up there, then he was down there, and then he was up there again, and then he was down there. But Pat having a cracking race, very exciting to watch. Homesick Alien in seventh. The tyres killed him in the end. He tried his best to go for Racer Brown, but that tyre wear really hurt him. He came home in seventh. Digital Blasphemy, just not his track. He's admitted it himself. Coming home in eighth. And Turtle with no boost button, bringing her home in ninth spot. Getting good lap times, though, it looks of it. 41.7, 41.5, 41.6. So he had to make a pit stop quite close to the end, though. So his strategy probably needs a little looking at. Still one of the best helmets in the group, though, with the Raphael helmet from the Ninja Turtles. But it's Jim today that we all bow to. A great drive from the Jim. Right, we'll give you the official look at that before we wrap it all up for our Festival of Suzuka. So Jim takes the win, Talleyrand in second, Racer Brown in third, Noxie fourth, Shiren fifth, Pat got sixth, Homesick Alien come home in seventh, Digital Blasphemy in eighth, and Turtle in ninth. We lost Cthulhu and Skyjacker along the way, and Jim got himself the fastest lap with a 1:40.079. Well, thank you for joining us here at the Virtual Racers Club. We'll be live later on this evening, Sunday evening, with the VW Bug Enduro Cup from Mount Panorama Drama, Panama. for Bathurst. Join us then for more fun and frolics, a 60-minute race in the VW Beetles, driving up and down the mountain in Australia. Thank you very much. I was your broadcaster and your commentator, Stacey Recht. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Peace and love. Peace and love. I'm just a love machine. I'm just a love machine.